9 episodes made it to screen. A lot more almost did. Concept art that got scrapped, scenes that never aired, and quiet confirmations from Gooseworx herself about what almost happened differently. Here's everything that didn't make the final cut, starting from the very beginning. Do you know Pomni almost wasn't a jester at all? Early concept art shows she was originally designed as a frog. That idea didn't disappear though. It went to Ribbit instead. That's why the two of them share so many parallels throughout the whole show. The anxiety, the way Jax treats them differently, even some of their expressions. One scrap design became the blueprint for 2 completely different characters. That's one design that got repurposed entirely. Here's one that never got a real explanation at all. What if a teaser everyone assumed showed Gangle's room was actually showing something else entirely? Fans thought it was her bedroom for years. It wasn't. It was her collection of masks. One in particular had no expression at all. Just one eye, completely blank. Nobody's ever gotten a real answer for what that mask means. The theory going around is that it's what happens when her anxiety hits its absolute peak. Concept art is one thing. This next one is a moment that was fully written into the story, and then quietly erased before we ever saw it. Did you know there's a photo of Jax and Pomni that got quietly deleted from canon before their fight even happened on screen? It was taken right after their closest conversation. Back when Jax actually seemed happy, he'd hung it on his wall. Then he threw it away before the argument that ended things. The friendship wasn't destroyed in the moment we saw. It had already been discarded before that. That's Jax's side of things. Here's what one of the only unaired scenes on record shows happening to someone else, completely alone. What happened to Ragatha the night everyone else went home? An unused scene shows her staying behind completely alone after episode 5. Just sitting with her thoughts. No dialogue, no one else in frame. Just her, replaying everything that happened, trying to figure out how to fix a mess that was never entirely hers to fix in the first place. That covers what almost made it to screen. Now here's what actually got rewritten, and why. Did you know episode 7 went through the biggest rewrite of the entire series? Gooseworx has said outright she didn't think the original version was good enough. And what's interesting is what got cut. A lot of it was built around ideas the fan theory community had latched onto. Things like secret escape pods and CNA being some hidden conspiracy. She rewrote around it, on purpose. That rewrite changed a lot, but some details from the original vision made it through untouched. Do you know why Jax picks up a random bowling ball in episode 1 and says he's been looking for it? It seems like a throwaway joke. It isn't. That exact same bowling ball shows up again, years later, in Ribbit's room during the finale. One small object, quietly connecting Jax to her the entire time, long before we knew their story mattered at all. Small details like that survived. Here's a much bigger one that only ever showed up in a between-episode teaser. What if one of the strangest teasers in the whole show was actually a warning? Between episodes, Glitch released an image of Cain having a literal nightmare. The theory is that it's not just a dream. It's what would have happened if Cain had failed to get rid of Abel completely, letting him take over fully. And Abel was driven by nothing but anger and revenge. That version of events never aired. Maybe it's better that it didn't. That's everything hiding in the gaps between episodes. Here's what came out after the finale actually aired. Did you know Gangle always hid her drawings, but one eventually got shown between episodes? She'd drawn herself, Pomni, and Zubul as a perfect, close friend group. She had real reason to believe it could happen too, based on how Pomni treated her. It didn't turn out exactly how she pictured it, but half of it came true anyway. That drawing turned out to be more accurate than Gangle probably expected. Here's one tiny detail from the actual post-finale scenes almost nobody caught. In the post-finale scenes, the group cooks together as a group for the first time. Watch closely though. Out of everyone still living in the circus, only one of them actually knows how to cook. Kinger. Small detail, but it fits. The character who's been there the longest, who's had the most time to build a life inside this place, is the one who ended up with a skill nobody else picked up. And last, the reason so much of this exists outside the show in the first place. What if a lot of what fans consider missing lore was never meant to be lore at all? Gooseworx has directly called her own Tumblr Q&A answers fluff, meaning not serious canon, just extra thoughts. Meanwhile, she's confirmed the entire show was fully written more than a year before the finale even released. The mysteries that never got answered weren't forgotten, they just weren't the point. 10 pieces of this show that never made it to the final cut, or only ever existed in a Tumblr post that isn't even online anymore. If there's something else you've seen floating around that never got explained, drop it below.